I bought the camera I can't afford. Like, actually, I'm broke and I still did it. And when I checked my bank account later, my stomach dropped. Rent, bills, groceries, and then this expensive box sitting just on my table. And from the outside it looked stupid or irresponsible or maybe even delusional. But there's the part that messed with my head. That not taking risk is exactly the thing that kept me here at this point. So I've been stuck with a question in my head. Is this camera the dumbest thing I spent money on, or was I already making a worse investment in playing it safe? So most of the days look exactly the same for me. I wake up tired, I go to work, sit there from 8 until later afternoon, get home around 6, just eat something quickly and just deflate. And this is not a tragic life, and nothing is on fire really, and I pay my bills barely and I'm not homeless. But there's still that big feeling that I'm one payment, one invoice away from collapsing altogether. So I treated money like the super fragile thing. I'll buy a cheap coffee but feel guilty afterwards. I stare at the cart at the online shopping and just close it there because I'm scared to see the total. And at night, when it gets quiet, I always tell myself, when I finally have money, then I start, then I buy the gear, and then I'm taking it seriously. But the months go by, job stayed the same, the account stayed low, and I'm still saying then. So this camera started as a small thought. You know that feeling when you open up YouTube, see someone talking to the camera and you think yourself, oh, wait, I can do the same. And I had that thought for years. I'd look up cameras, watch some reviews, put them in the favorite list, and always with that silent rule inside my head. Not now, it's for later, when it makes sense. And one night, I was more tired than usual, mentally, not physically. I just got home, eat something random, and I was there sitting with a heavy, quiet thought. And I opened my laptop and did it again. Camera research, specs, prices, comparing models. And then I saw this one camera. Not the best and also not the worst, but it felt like enough to start. And I checked my bank account, did the math, and it didn't make any sense at all. And my brain was shouting at me, don't be stupid, this is for rent, don't spend that money, this is safety money. But there was another voice in my head that was softer and quieter. It said in my head, if you don't do something irrational now, you're going to be at the exact same place next year as you are. And you know you can't stand that. So I just bought it, clicked placed order, closed down the laptop and sat there in silence for a long time, wondering if I'd ruin my life over a camera. And at the next morning, the regret hit first. I woke up and the first thing I thought wasn't about coffee or work, it was about my bank balance. I checked it again, like it would magically change overnight, but it didn't, obviously. And on the way to work, everything had a price tag on it. The car ride, the fuel, the lunch, even the bottle of water. I kept thinking, you didn't have any room or any money left to play with that, to buy a camera. And you still bought that camera. And I didn't tell anyone at first, because I already knew the reaction I would get. Why do you buy that when you're struggling? Shouldn't you save up first? Can't you just use your phone for recording videos? And these questions hurt because they were true. And I didn't have any logical answer for them, because all I had was that weird feeling that buying it wasn't always about the camera. All I had was that uncomfortable feeling that buying it wasn't about the camera. It was like I made a promise to myself I cannot fully explain yet. And the reason it felt insane was like I was always the responsible guy. I'm the guy who says no to the trips because it's not in the budget. The guy who waits for sales. And the guy to refuse buy anything unnecessary because life is already hard. And for years I was proud of that. I thought being safe with money actually meant I was smart with money. But here's what I didn't admit to myself. I wasn't saving up for something. I was just not spending because out of fear. And I wasn't building anything. I was just avoiding risk. And somehow with all that responsibility, I was still broke, still stuck in the same job, and still coming home to the same tired evenings, still scrolling to other people's lives on Instagram or TikTok instead of living my own life. And that really hit me hard, because if being safe didn't move me forward, then what was I exactly protecting? And when the camera finally arrived, I felt heavier than usual. It wasn't just a package. It was like a physical reminder of something I can't undo again. I put the box on my desk and stared on it for a while. You know that feeling when you realize, oh, I actually did it, and there's no going back now. Opening it was weird. On one hand, I was excited because this thing I wanted was finally in my hand, and on the other hand, every time I held this in my hand, I hear this whisper inside my head, that was your safety. You better make it worth it now. And it didn't felt like buying gear. It felt like I just chosen who I wanted trying to be. In a way, I could easily walked away, because it's one thing to say I want to make videos, and there is another thing when the actual camera is on your desk staring at you every night and still asking, so are we doing this or not? And the first week with that camera was uncomfortable. I'd come home from work like always. Normally I'd eat, scroll for hours, maybe watch some videos and then crash. But now there was this pressure sitting in front of me, this thing in the room that made doing nothing feel louder. I'd sit on the desk on my phone and my eyes keep drifting to the camera, to the thing that I supposedly ruined my finances for. And one night I actually said it out loud. Okay, if you're actually going to be broke, at least be broke for a reason. So I set it up, put it on a tripod and hit record. And it was bad, like really bad. I didn't know exactly where to look and my voice was bad. And I forgot what I was saying mid-sentence. And the lighting made me look like I hadn't slept for years. But when I watched it back, I had that feeling I hadn't had for a long time. And it was not pride or success, it was movement. Like for the first time in years, I did something that maybe leads to somewhere instead of repeating over and over again. And over the next days, something shifted. And nothing dramatic, and I didn't blow up on YouTube suddenly, and I didn't start to make money. And my bank account was still in the don't look too closely zone, but my evening changed. Instead of automatically collapsing into scrolling, I tell myself just 10 minutes, just one take. And sometimes it turned into hours of filming. And sometimes I was just there planning my videos, and I still didn't look productive from the outside. And I was still that guy in a small room talking to the camera that no one even watches the videos. But inside me, the investment started to make sense, because I realized I didn't bought the camera, I bought the line I couldn't uncross anymore. I'd forced myself into a vision that has to follow through, because every time I'm now thinking about quitting, I guess I won't try it on YouTube. It's like, so you spend all your money you really didn't have on something and you're not gonna even try? And that hit me different. And I'm not going to pretend that this was a genius financial move. And if you're expecting me to say I bought this camera while I was broke and now I'm rich, this is not my life, because I'm still figuring things out, still paying attention to every bill, to every cent, and I'm still that same guy with the same small bank balance. And when I look on it, I still have the tightness feeling in my chest. But I realized something important. There is broke as in your money, and there is broke as in your identity. And for years I protected my fragile bank account and completely ignored how the sense of myself had become, because I was the guy who would do things later, who could be good at something when he actually started, who wanted to create but never did anything. And that version of me was very affordable. It didn't cost so much, he just slowly drained my life. So this camera, how stupid it looks on paper, made me choose a side. To stay the guy until something made sense, or trying to be that broken guy who still is trying, who still is learning, and who still looks stupid and small while he tries. So was this really the stupidest investment I ever did? And if you only look at numbers and my bank accounts, probably the answer is going to be yes. Spending money while living paycheck to paycheck didn't make any sense, and yeah, I know that, but there is what I have come to accept, because playing it safe also kept me broke, just in a quieter way. And I didn't buy this camera because I had money. I bought this camera because I was tired of investing in my comfort. And for me, this wasn't an financial move. This was an identity move for me. It was me saying, I'm done being the person that watches from the outside. I'm willing to be that guy who starts and maybe fails, but still is trying something, instead of the guy that never started. And that kind of investment don't show up in your bank account app. It shows up how you spend your lives. It shows up how you spend your nights and later your life. So I am still broke, but I am not stuck anymore in the same position. Because when I look into the camera, I don't just see a bad final decision. I see a version of me that is finally taking a risk instead of slowly waiting to something that makes sense. And if that's stupid for you, then I am very good with that. So if any part of this video felt uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone in a small room at night. So if you want to proceed with me in that journey, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and maybe share this video, because this would help me out. So as for that, stay strong and thank you for watching.